doing? Let's go ahead and jump over to your, well, let's take a look at the written rationale first. Okay, so I really wanted to come up with a solid workbook after I dropped the ball on it for the sketches. That's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's all in the name of learning, right? And you did. You learned, and I think that you've got some good ideas here. And just based on what you're writing here, you're understanding how to really assign meaning to the words, logo marks, word marks, or monograms used to represent your client, and that meaning is based on the extraction of the encoded meaning that you have assigned to the client through your word lists. So I think there's a definite connection between the visual posture and the meaning associated with your client. And that right there, that mix right there is really what logo design is all about. So I was quite pleased to read your writing. I think it's effective. Good job there. Let's go ahead and jump over to the work. I think it's a good, solid play. I do. I think that you're creating this kind of connection between the network itself, the circuits, and how they're protected by these letters, and then transforming the whole thing into a word mark. I think that's a good play. I do. A couple of concerns in terms of execution code. One of the things I think of is the fact that this is not going to be, a lot of the stuff you have here is not going to be visible at a smaller size. And we can very easily duplicate the effect of looking at this at a distance simply, or at a smaller size, simply by reducing the zoom level, right? So here, as we can see, let's zoom right here. All of those little circles are now disappearing. And that's not even really too small. I mean, that's a very, very manageable size. I mean, a lot of times you'll see word marks even smaller. So we can see some inherent problems when we look at them at this size. The little circles are now disappeared, and they kind of look like little bumps in the typeface, which almost looks like a mistake. Okay. The other thing is that the fact that this is not a fill typeface, it's actually got a kind of a hollow fill through it with that white line through there. I would recommend going with a solid fill, solid black typeface. And again, as we zoom out or kind of depict the logo at a smaller size, the solid letters will stand up stronger at smaller sizes, as opposed will this kind of stroke, this white stroke through the middle. So again, I would recommend using a black stroke throughout the letter forms, no white line in the middle. And then somehow I'd like you to try to make these a little bit more prominent. I'm wondering if reducing the number of circles, increasing their size, and coloring them in black somehow might work. However, at that point, then you don't have this kind of these lines connecting the circuits that we see through that white line through the middle of the typeface. So that might be something that needs to be really considered further, is removing the white type, because it is connecting the circuits. Another option would be to try coloring those little circles black and increasing the size. That way you still have the line connecting the circuits, but the circuits themselves will be a little bit more visible. What I'm getting at is this. I want you to make the circuits more visible at smaller sizes, and also increase the simplicity it's associated with. I think there's a lot of circuits here. I'm wondering how, there's a few different things you can do. I don't really want to play art director because I think you're doing a fantastic job. And as if you notice, I kind of been directing students to direct themselves in this project, because you're the one that's doing the research and you're the one that has this kind of mental conceptual tie with the client. So I'm going to let you guys run with this instead of saying, okay, do this and we'll call it a day, right? So I'm asking you to make your own decisions based on what you have learned. So I don't really want to tell you what to do, but I do want to say that this definitely needs to be simplified. Definitely needs to be recognizable and clean and crisp at a small size, and then simplicity, again, is the name of the game. So take my comments, work the way you think it's going to work. I think you're doing a fantastic job, so I think you'll be just fine. But if you take my comments, if you need to let them absorb for a minute, come back later on, take a look at the videos, let it sink in for a couple hours, come back later, and really start thinking about how you can make these improvements. All right, if you have any questions or run into any problems, let me know. I'll be glad to help out. All right, thanks, man.